This is CBS News Chicago.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Dana Kozlov.
And I'm Marissa Perlman in for Audrina Sinclair this morning. Thanks so much for spending part of your morning with us. Huge flames destroyed a magnesium plant overnight in the south suburbs. Firefighters fought it for hours. Why they decided to let it burn out in the end.
Several heated exchanges as congressional lawmakers grill Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson about sanctuary cities and immigration policies. Why one of his harshest critics was an Illinois congressman.
And state lawmakers want to know what you thought about a new state flag. Now the results are in. We'll show you which design got the most votes, and the winner may surprise you. 9 o'clock on the dot. Breaking news tops your nonstop news this morning. A magnesium plant burned uncontrollably for hours overnight in Dixmoor.
Fire officials say the fire is out now, but the damage and devastation is great. Darius Johnson live there, where there's only bare bones left of that plant. Good morning, Darius.
Ladies, good morning to you. Yes, we talked about the devastation. That devastation is great indeed. One of the main buildings here at that plant is now gone. They named it a total loss. They say the roof caved in when fire officials first arrived last night. This fire was so intense, it kept crews here from 11:30 last night until around 7 o'clock this morning. And if you take a look behind me right now, they are still here on the scene live. State firefighters and also on the scene at this time. Now, Postal Fire says that they got the call at 11:30 last night for a structure fire.
All right, we're having trouble hearing Darius. We hope to get back to him later in the show, but we're going to move on.
Yeah, we want to also let you know about this. Firefighters also on the scene of this fire in Belmont-Cragen that sparked last night. You can see the flames shooting from this two-story building. We're told it started just before 11 last night on Linder near Fullerton. 5 people got out okay, and there were no injuries. No word yet on how this fire started. And a man jumped out of a window to escape the flames of a different fire, this one in East Garfield Park. Chicago police say this happened on Springfield near Huron just before 2 a.m. The man's uncle says he was watching TV when he heard the smoke detector go off, and everyone tried to get out.
I went up to try to open the door to get him out, but the heat was too strong, so he went out the window.
A paramedic took his nephew to the hospital. He hurt his ankle but will be okay. At least 10 people evacuated. Plenty of damage here, but thankfully no one else was hurt.
The Chicago Board of Education is making a change that could allow CPS to take out a loan. The current budget did not take into account the cost of a new teacher's contract, though, which is still being negotiated. So the proposed amendment posted online by the board states that CPS can incur debt if needed to balance a budget. 2 public hearings on this proposed amendment are set for next week.
And we now know 2 schools in Chicago received bomb threats yesterday. Police cars surrounded Jones College Prep in the South Loop just after 2 yesterday afternoon. We're told there were multiple calls of a bomb threat and a person with a gun. But when police swept the school, they couldn't find either. But about 40 minutes later, there was another swatting incident, this one at John Hancock College Prep High School. That is in the Clearing neighborhood. Now we want to go back to our Darius Johnson. Oh, I'm sorry. We want to move on to this. Yesterday, Mayor Brandon Johnson spent over 5 hours testifying alongside other Democratic mayors to the Republican-controlled House Oversight Committee.
Some of the Hill's staunchest conservatives grilled them about how their cities, including Chicago, handles migrants. At times, things got heated.
Sensationalizing tragedy in the name of political expediency is not governing. It's grandstanding.
I've been amazed at how tone deaf you have been and how oblivious you've been to the decline of Chicago. Out of control crime in Chicago. People scared throughout neighborhoods.
We could use your help, and I'm willing to work with you, and I'm glad I had a chance to finally meet you for the first time.
Mayor Johnson repeatedly cited declining crime numbers as proof the sanctuary status here is working because it leaves migrants less fearful to come forward with information to help solve crimes. All right, now we want to go back to Darius Johnson, who is live in Dixmoor at the scene of a fire at a magnesium plant overnight.
Yeah, what's the latest there, Darius?
Hey there. Yeah, go ahead and just take a look at this video. Posen Fire tells us they got the call at 11:30 last night for a structure fire. You could see heavy flames ripping through the plant at 141st and Sealy and Blue Island. This is the Chicago magnesium plant. It's been here since 1953, and they produce magnesium and aluminum castings that are used for aircraft engines. Firefighters from 15 different departments tried to put water on it from every angle to douse the flames. However, when magnesium and water combines, it causes explosions, and that happened here at the scene last night. It took some time to get the fire under control, so they then allowed it to burn itself out. They eased water off the fire at some point. We spoke to a fire official this morning about the challenges they incurred.
Magnesium reacts with water, so that makes it a challenge. We had quite a few different explosions that were happening during the building from that chemical reaction. So we were able to contain it, but that was one of the big issues.
No one was injured. State fire marshals and the Environmental Protection Agency will be here as they are monitoring levels here in the area right now. They say there are no elevated readings, so things are fine. Fire crews say they will be here throughout the morning checking out hotspots. We're live in Dixmoor. I'm Darius Johnson, CBS News Chicago.
Thanks for sitting on top of that for us, Darius. Well, it doesn't look like Illinois will be getting a new flag anytime soon. The Illinois Secretary of State says the public overwhelmingly voted to keep its current design. Now, as it stands, the Illinois state flag features a bald eagle with a banner in its beak and a shield in its talons. 43% of those who voted on potential redesign wanted to keep the current flag. It got more votes than the next 5 top designs combined. The Illinois Flag Commission will prepare a report for the General Assembly. Lawmakers will then vote on adopting a new flag or keeping the current one. Wow.
Well, after a lot of rain and gray skies, we are finally seeing some sunshine. What a beautiful looking morning.
I will take it. I think we all will. Let's turn now to meteorologist Ed Curran for our first alert weather forecast. Good morning, Ed.
Good morning. It is a gorgeous morning in Chicago. We have blue skies. We have 30 degrees, and it feels like 18 degrees when you figure in or factor in the winds out there. The winds are pretty strong out of the northwest at 18 miles an hour, and we see them gusting all the way up to 24 miles per hour. 30 degrees at O'Hare, 32 at Midway, 30 degrees down to Rensselaer, Indiana, as well as Valparaiso. And here are the strong winds we have across the area. Pretty brisk winds, and they give you a pretty good wind chill out there. We're looking at feels like temperatures that are around 19 degrees as you get out toward the DeKalb, 16 degrees, 18 at O'Hare, 22 at Midway Airport. Over the next 12 hours or so, you're looking at temperatures getting up to a seasonable 41 degrees. Your normal high for today is about 43, so we're pretty much right where we ought to be with lots of sunshine around. But the climb and temperatures this weekend and into next week is amazing, and I'll tell you about it coming up in just a little bit. Back to you.
Looking forward to that, Ed. Thank you. Let's turn now to Capitol Hill. President Donald Trump issues a 1-month exemption for tariffs impacting vehicle imports. Now, this comes after a phone call with Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Jared Hill has the latest on that and new information about the U.S. halting vital intelligence sharing with Ukraine.
President Donald Trump is pumping the brakes on his auto tariffs, giving a 1-month pause for the big 3 U.S. car makers.
They made the ask, and the president is happy to do it.
Trump is pushing Ford, General Motors, and Stellantis to shift all production to the U.S. as early fallout builds from his new 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico, plus 20% on goods from China. The president said the countries are not doing enough to stop the flow of fentanyl into the U.S., a point Trump says he reiterated to Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau in a 50-minute call yesterday. Trudeau and leaders of the other nations responded with tariffs of their own. On Russia's war in Ukraine, one day after President Trump said Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky sent him a letter.
The letter reads, "Ukraine is ready to come to the negotiating table as soon as possible to bring lasting peace closer."
CBS News learned the Trump administration has stopped sharing intelligence with Ukraine that could help the country target Russian forces, though some defensive intel is still being shared. No word on when the intelligence sharing or the suspension on military aid to Ukraine could resume. Meanwhile, amid ongoing sweeping federal cuts and a government shutdown deadline in less than 2 weeks, the president's senior advisor Elon Musk met with lawmakers on Capitol Hill about enshrining DOGE cuts into law.
A lot of opportunity to improve expenditures in the government.
CBS News has obtained a memo showing the Department of Veterans Affairs is planning to slash more than 70,000 workers. Jared Hill, CBS News.
Meanwhile, the Trump administration is facing multiple legal challenges to federal funding cuts. A judge blocked the White House from cutting medical research funding, and the Supreme Court rejected the president's request to keep billions of dollars in foreign aid frozen. Well, as we keep an eye on your world this morning, President Trump issued what he called a last warning to Hamas to release all remaining hostages held in Gaza.
Now, this comes after the White House confirmed that Trump sent an envoy to directly talk with the militant group. These talks step away from a long-held U.S. policy of not directly engaging with Hamas. Trump posted the statement on his Truth Social platform soon after meeting at the White House with 8 former hostages.
Well, an international human rights advocacy group is warning Israel's blockade of aid into Gaza will shut down most of the region's water infrastructure. Human Rights Watch says there are only enough fuel reserves to continue operating water facilities there for 1 week. Israeli officials said on Sunday they would stop all aid going into Gaza to pressure Hamas into accepting new terms for an extension of a ceasefire deal.
President Trump's State Department is scheduled to give its first media briefing today. Spokesperson Tammy Bruce is a former Fox News contributor. These public briefings were almost daily under former President Joe Biden, but sparse under Trump's first administration. Topics likely to come up include Secretary of State Marco Rubio's efforts to broker peace between Russia and Ukraine, and President Trump's relationship with the Ukrainian president after an argumentative meeting last Friday.
A lot to get to this morning. Living through tough times as a kid can sometimes make you more resilient as an adult, but a new study found it all depends on when those stressful events happen.
And do you ever pull into a bus lane in the city to drop someone off while still ahead? Why you could be fined for that quick stop.
And there's a new way to travel around the United Center. The new service Uber is offering to get you to and from events. Now.
You could be fined for pulling over in a bus or bike lane. It's a policy that's been in place for months.
Yeah, but after listening to you, we're learning many Chicagoans didn't know about this new rule. Our Sabrina Franza has more.
The people parked in this bus lane could be facing fines of $90. Turn that bus lane into a bike lane, it goes up to $250.
I've probably done it 50 times in that lane.
Michael Baumhart didn't know pulling over into a bus lane to drop off his wife would prompt this warning and a $90 fine if he does it again. You can see a person getting out of the car in the photos the city snapped of him.
I have been dropping her off in the bus lane. Literally, I literally like drop her off and then she just jumps out of the car and gets out and goes.
The city began their Smart Streets pilot program in November of last year. CBS News Chicago has learned many still don't know about the program or the penalties.
I wanted to get out on the passenger side and not get out in traffic.
Baumhart received a warning because it had been his first offense. He drops his wife off 2 times a week and hasn't received any other notices from the city. The pilot program lasts 12 months across much of the downtown and surrounding area, and it's meant to keep those lanes clear for the safety of bicyclists, pedestrians, and to move buses along swiftly.
I have friends who have been injured, who have lost loved ones due to vehicles that were parked in bike lanes that compelled them to pull into traffic.
Alderman Daniel Laspada pushed for this initiative. Cameras like these attached to city vehicles, spotting people in bus and in bike lanes to prevent them from blocking those spaces in the future.
Please know we are not trying to trap you as a city. We want to educate people. We want infrastructure that is clear in how it should be used. We don't want your money. We only want you to drive safely.
There are no concrete plans to expand this program citywide just yet. After 1 year, the city plans to evaluate the program's success and take it from there. We're in the loop. Sabrina Franza, CBS News, Chicago.
Thanks to Sabrina for that reporting. 9:17 now. Let's turn to meteorologist Ed Curran for our first alert weather forecast. We're looking at some sunny skies at this hour, Ed.
Yeah, beautiful conditions around the Chicago area as we take a look down into Millennium Park, the Grant Park area. 30 degrees currently, and feels like only about 18 degrees with a wind northwest at 18 miles an hour. And on top of that, a wind that's been gusting up into the mid-20s. Temperatures right now, 30 at O'Hare, 32 at Midway, 30 at Valparaiso, and 27 degrees out at DeKalb. A beautiful morning, lots of sunshine as we go through the day today. Temperatures getting up to a seasonable level of about 41 degrees. Normal high for today comes in at about 43 degrees, so we're right where we should be. Tonight, very late as we head toward dawn, you'll see snow start to fall around the Chicago area. It's going to be very mild outside, though, so we're right on the borderline for snow, so any snow that does collect will be wet, slushy stuff as it comes through. But you can see the little bit of snow that comes through coincides with the morning rush hour here, and that will give us perhaps a little bit of slowdown in the morning. And that's why we have an alert up for tomorrow, because it may give you a little bit of a slower drive, even though Friday we usually see a little bit lighter traffic. 35 degrees, some slushy snow out there, and then 45 degrees on Saturdays. We start to warm things up. So sun today, some wet, slushy snow tomorrow. 45 on Saturday, we jump to 54 on Sunday, and we don't stop there. Again, your typical high for today is 43 degrees, and by Monday, we're at 62 degrees. Tuesday, 65, and by Wednesday, 60 degrees with some thunderstorms as temperatures change after that. But we're taking a look at really nice conditions around here as we head through the weekend and into next week. Let's see how nice your travels are out there. And here's Chris. Good morning.
Good morning, Ed. Hi, everybody. Welcome into Friday Eve, and the rush hour seems to be perpetually there with us. We're seeing a lot of delays out on the roads, and we've got a crash to talk about in northwest Indiana, so off to the maps we go. And we're going to see lots of red there, including down here, getting across the line into northwest Indiana. Hoosier helpers are with it, and they're helping the Hoosiers and everybody else by moving a crash out of eastbound 8094. The two right lanes have been blocked past Kennedy Avenue. It's starting to ease up a bit based on the colors I'm seeing now. But you got a pretty significant delay going eastbound. It's literally welcome to Indiana. You get to the state line and you stop. So they're going to spend a little bit of extra time visiting next door, and the westbound side has got some gaping going on as well. Closer to home, core expressways are pretty busy. The Kennedy, the Eisenhower, and the Stevenson, the worst of all. And a big change for folks in and around Logan Square. Yeah, you're used to going through on Milwaukee Avenue. Not anymore. Milwaukee Avenue gone through Logan Square Park as of today, so it'll be taking the scenic route, going around it from now on Logan Boulevard. Chris Habermill, CBS News, Chicago.
Chris, thanks so much. Well, Bulls and Blackhawks fans may have an easier time getting out of the United Center the next time they attend a game. Uber says a new service called Uber Shuttle is launching at the arena. It'll run between the UC and 4 preset locations. Fans can book a spot on the shuttle up to 2 days before an event at an introductory rate of just $5.
Well, Governor Pritzker is pushing to take cell phones out of the classroom. We'll tell you what his proposal would require school districts to do.
And 5 years after the COVID pandemic shut down the world, the scientists make a breakthrough in treating new variants of COVID.
Dana and Marissa, we are getting you prepared for St. Patrick's Day. It's not St. Patrick's Day without Guinness, without the Trinity Irish Dancer, or, of course, the Chicago Garda pipes and drums. So we've got the bagpipers here with us this morning. Owen from Guinness is pouring those pints of Guinness for us. So coming up in about 20 minutes, we're going to be telling you all about Old St. Patrick's Day celebrations, which kick off on Monday, run through Saturday. I don't know if you can hear anything I'm saying right now because it is really hard to talk over those bagpipes, but we'll see you back here in about 20 minutes.
On the Health Watch, it has been 5 years since the COVID-19 virus swept across the world.
Yeah, now researchers may have found a new way to treat the constantly evolving COVID virus. A new study from Stanford University discovered 2 antibodies were effective at treating all variants of COVID through Omicron. It will likely take years of trials and research, though. The hope here is to create a treatment which could be effective against future variants.
We know facing traumatic events at a young age affects mental health later in life, but a new study from Yale determined that some stressful events may make some people more resilient. Researchers found low to moderate levels of adversity between ages 6 and 12 can make you more resilient to anxiety in adulthood, but that wasn't the case with severe traumatic events.
Well, sports gambling is now linked to alcohol-related problems. A survey published in the Journal of the American Medical Association found people who gamble on sports often are at an elevated risk for developing alcohol issues. Those can have serious negative health consequences. Researchers recommend more screening and treatment for people who drink while they gamble.
Do you know of an organization working to improve mental health? Well, if so, we want to hear from you. Mental Health Action Day is a day in May dedicated to driving our mental health culture from awareness to action. And this year, CBS is teaming up with MTV to provide grants to empower nonprofits to host events and engage communities in taking action for mental health. The deadline for submissions is this Sunday, March 9th. So please visit mentalhealthactionday.org/grant to find out more and apply today.
Coming up next at 9:30, Chicago Public Schools could soon be asking for a loan. The financial push as the district and teachers continue contract talks.
Firefighters battled massive flames overnight at a magnesium plant in the south suburbs. Why it was so difficult for crews to bring that fire under control.
And several heated exchanges as congressional lawmakers grill Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson about sanctuary cities and immigration policies. What one Illinois congressman on the committee thought of the mayor's performance. Next.
This is CBS News Chicago.
Good Thursday morning. Thanks for starting your morning with us. I'm Marissa Perlman in for Audrina Sinclair.
And I'm Dana Kozlov. It is 9:30. Thanks so much for staying with us. Well, the Board of Education paves the way for CPS to take out a highly controversial loan. Details of the just introduced budget amendment coming up.
A sunny, mild day. Enjoy it while it lasts. We could be dealing with a slushy mess tomorrow.
Let's toss it over now to Ed Curran, who can give us details on that sloshy mess that we might be facing on Friday. Ed?
Yeah, enjoy the blue skies of today because tomorrow we could get some wet, slushy snow around here. Temperatures don't really support a lot of snow, but it'll be a little bit of a mess that may slow down your morning commute. 30 degrees right now. Look from the great southwest side of Chicago. Northwest winds blowing at 18 and gusting to the mid-20s around Chicago. Breezy and bright today. Snow likely tomorrow. Moves in the morning. And weekend warming trends that drive our temperatures to the 60s by next week. 30 degrees right now at O'Hare. And we're looking at winds that are up there about 18 miles an hour or so. And we'll reach a high of 41 degrees today, which is pretty seasonable. But as we go into the new week, we'll take this 41 and bring it all the way up to the 60s. So a warming trend this weekend, and I'll tell you more about it coming up in just a bit. Back to you.
Ed, thanks so much. Well, we are following breaking news out of Dixmoor, where firefighters battled a fire at a magnesium facility for hours.
Yeah, the Posen Fire Chief tells us this fire started around 11:30 on Sealy Avenue. The fire chief says there were some explosions and the building looks to be a near total loss now. The plant was closed at the time of the fire. Officials say no one was hurt and the cause still remains under investigation. And more decisions need to be made when it comes to the budget for Chicago Public Schools.
The Chicago Board of Education is proposing an amendment that would need approval by the end of the month. Asal Razai is live at Chicago Public School headquarters right now explaining what this amendment means. Asal.
Yeah, Dana, Marissa, the proposed change coming down in just the last 24 hours, it would allow the school district to take on a loan if needed to balance the budget. Now, we know that a budget was approved for the school district this past summer for $10 billion. The board now saying it did not take into account the costs of a new teacher's contract, which is still being negotiated. The proposed amendment posted online by the board states CPS can incur debt if needed to balance a budget, otherwise they'll face budget cuts. In a letter yesterday, CPS CEO Pedro Martinez saying CPS anticipates amending the budget at a later date to reflect the cost of these agreements. He acknowledged the road ahead will not be easy. And as you guys mentioned, a final decision is needed by the end of this month. 2 public hearings on the newly proposed amendment are set to take place here next week. I'm live at CPS headquarters. Asal Rezai, CBS News Chicago.
Asal, thank you. And just yesterday, the CTU delivered petitions signed by thousands of teachers listing what they call 5 absolute must-haves to push a new contract over the goal line. They include changes to the teacher evaluation system, providing more prep time, better pay for veteran teachers, staffing core student needs, and capping class sizes.
Well, this morning, Governor Pritzker will talk more about his proposal to keep cell phones out of school classrooms. He suggested the ban last month during his State of the State address. The statewide effort aims to help kids stay focused while learning and improve mental health, too. He says parents and educators commonly bring up cell phones as a problem for students, including cyberbullying. The legislation would require school districts to create policies to ban wireless devices during class time in a secure but accessible way. There would be exceptions and guidelines, and it would be reviewed every few years.
A hearing to discuss legislation allowing terminally ill people to end their lives is now delayed.
Yeah, lawmakers want more time to work on this proposal. It would allow mentally competent people who are given 6 months or less to live the ability to end their life through prescription medication. 10 other states allow this already. The legislation was filed by State Senator Linda Holmes from Aurora. It's not clear what changes they're working on right now. Well, during a heated hearing on Capitol Hill, Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson answered questions about Chicago's sanctuary city status and immigration policies.
Now, this took place before the House Oversight Committee. Mayors from Denver, Boston, and New York also faced questions. Mayor Johnson defended Chicago's sanctuary city policy on Capitol Hill. When he addressed the lawmakers' concerns about crime, Johnson says the sanctuary status helps promote cooperation between police and immigrant communities. But some Republican lawmakers argued the mayors were themselves committing crimes through those policies, vowing to charge the mayors personally. This morning, we spoke with a current and former Illinois representative about if they think this could actually end up in court.
She didn't point out which law is being broken and how it's being broken. It felt, again, just like a rhetorical argument as opposed to actually pointing out the facts.
Let's be real. Donald Trump has an attorney general who is utterly committed to politicizing the Justice Department. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if the Justice Department looked into pursuing criminal charges against these mayors, which is crazy.
Even though it did not come up much during the committee hearing, federal funding is on the line. The committee leaders say there's no word on if federal funds will be withheld, though.
Well, closing arguments are scheduled to start right now for 2 men who say they were framed by the Chicago Police Department. John Fulton and Anthony Mitchell sued the city, Cook County, and certain law enforcement officers. Now, they say they were arrested as teens for a 2003 murder on the South Side. They claim police coerced false statements from both witnesses and from them. They spent 16 years in prison. A judge vacated their conviction back in 2019. It's now up to a jury to decide what the men are owed. And the Trump administration is planning to cut upwards of 80,000 jobs from the Department of Veterans Affairs. And Chicago veterans are already feeling the impact. But now Cook County is helping with other options. 19th Ward Alderman Matt O'Shea says he's had to pause programs helping military veterans and their families. One includes answering questions about disabilities, employment, financial assistance, and health care. But the alderman says now the Cook County Board of Commissioners is stepping in to help.
This is a huge undertaking.
but President Preckwinkle made it clear they want to do everything they can to help our veterans.
Need to think twice about what's going on and who does it really impact, because it impacts the people who put them in office.
Illinois Congressman Mike Bost, who chairs the House Committee on Veterans Affairs, defended the job cuts. In a statement, he says both he and the president want to give veterans the best services for, quote, the best dollar.
Well, we are getting our green on early with a preview of some of the fun to come at Old St. Pat's for St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, it's a sign of spring, and it's not a rainy day fun, but some Americans are treating their 401ks like one. What people are dipping into their retirement accounts early for.
And we're taking a look at some blue skies today, but by tomorrow morning, we could see some snow in the air. But then a real warm up, and I'll tell you about it coming up in just a bit.
Welcome back, everyone. Well, St. Patrick's Day may still be more than a week away, but you can celebrate all month long.
And what better way to get your Irish on than at a Chicago institution? Jackie is live at Old St. Pat's right now, getting a taste of the St. Patty's Day fun to come. Hi, Jackie.
And Dana and Audrina, yeah, there are so many preparations underway right now for St. Patrick's Day, because with Old St. Pat's Church, there's really a week of festivities. It's not just St. Patrick's Day itself or Saturday for the Shamrockin' event, but it's Monday as well, and really the whole week. So this is not something you see every day, but that is a priest on a pint of Guinness, which is a classic St. Patrick's Day thing, I guess. I don't know. But I'm here with Father Pat McGrath this morning from Old St. Pat's Church. Thank you so much for being here.
My privilege, Jackie. Good to be with you.
Well, great to be with you. How did Old St. Pat's become sort of synonymous with St. Patrick's Day here in Chicago? Because I really think of it as being one and the same almost.
Yeah, well, St. Pat's started in 1846, this parish, and it was a parish for Irish immigrants, and still a parish for immigrants. And that spirit of the Irish coming to make Chicago their home, this place, this parish became that great center for the Irish community in Chicago from the get-go. So going way, way back, the civic celebration of St. Patrick's Day starts here at Old St. Pat's.
This party that you guys have on Saturday, the Shamrockin', it used to be Shamrockin' the Block. I mean, I think everybody sort of knows about the party. This is a way for folks to give back to what the church does all year round, or help support what the church does all year round, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the life of Old St. Pat's is so woven into the city of Chicago, and everything that we celebrate in celebrating the person of St. Patrick, the person of St. Bridget, it's also at the mission of Old St. Pat's as a city church, as a church that wants to be a welcoming place for everybody. And so a lot of what we do here this special week supports the broader mission of Old St. Pat's, which is the great grace of that relationship. Chicago's our home. We love this city, and it's a life we share together.
I love it. Real quick, do you have a particular favorite moment of this special week ahead?
I love all of it, but it won't surprise you that I love the Mass we celebrate on Saturday morning. Before anything else happens on the parade or Shamrockin', we get together to pray and thank God and ask for blessings on our great city.
I thought you were going to say it was going to be drinking your beer.
which I typically do on a Thursday morning at 9 o'clock.
Right, yeah. Hopefully that's not the case. No, of course it's not. Thank you so much for your time this morning, Father Pat. We really appreciate it. Okay, we can't go without our friends from the Chicago Garda pipes and
drums.
There it is. Yeah, finishing my sentence. Tom Marion, who runs this group. Tell me about the next week or two ahead for you guys, because you're just about everywhere.
Wow, yeah, we're playing over close to 100 locations throughout the city of Chicago, the suburbs. Yeah. Our favorite event here is Shamrockin', without question, at Old St. Pat's. We're here for Old St. Pat's. We're here for Father McGrath, and we're really here for the Guinness this morning. So it's a pleasure to be here, and you're going to see us throughout the city of Chicago and throughout Cook County.
It's a pleasure to have you guys here. We, Dana and Marissa, we're going to have them take it away for us and take us out. So, gentlemen, do your thing, and ladies, do your thing. Show it off.
definitely, I mean, my goodness, you think St. Patrick's Day. You also think other things that are more somber, you know, but definitely this time of year, St. Patrick's Day. Wow, I hope there's not an earthquake. Just kidding. Just kidding, everyone. Thanks so much to Jackie for sharing all that St. Pat's fun this morning.
I like the priest on a pint. I think we should put Ed Curran's
My face was on a pint
that was
last
awesome.
hour. I
love
loved
that.
it.
So cool. Ed Curran, let's put your face on a pint. What do you think?
Okay, all right. That sounds great to me. I love the way those come out. I mean, they come out looking one just like a photograph on your Guinness.
It's cool.
And let's not say that a few Guinnesses may be behind the camera work at the end there.
No,
I'm not
of
sure.
course not, Ed.
But somebody told me years ago that at bars in Ireland, you get a Guinness, and they would use a magic marker and mark the top with their initials so you'd know your Guinness next to your buddies while you played darts.
Oh. Really?
So this is kind of an offshoot of that,
Yeah,
isn't it? Yeah,
it's much more
cool.
clever.
Technology.
Sunshine on the near northwest side here as we take a look down at the Kennedy Expressway, which is crawling along this morning. We have 30 degrees in Chicago. Northwest winds at 18 miles an hour, 29 degrees at Waukegan, 32 at Kankakee. So everybody's kind of on an even keel around here with temperatures right around 30 degrees. Today, we look for a high of about 43. We'll get to about 41 degrees for today, so that's all right. And lots of blue skies. But by tomorrow morning, just before dawn, we start to see some snowflakes in the air. Temperatures would be pretty warm, so I think the snowflakes will be challenged by the temperature, and we'll probably wind up with some slushy snow around here that won't accumulate too much as we go through the day. So just minor accumulations is what we're calling for tomorrow, with 35 degrees for a high. But after that, look out, because we have temperatures that start to soar. They start to climb as we go through the weekend, 45 Saturday and 54 degrees on Sunday. But then we really take off. 62 Monday, 65 on Tuesday, and Wednesday 60. But we get some thunderstorms in here and start to change our temperatures a bit. But all in all, that's a nice trend to see as temperatures start to go up around here. Tomorrow morning, we may have a little precip around here. And as Chris Habermill will tell you, it doesn't take a whole lot to slow traffic down around here, even though it might not amount to a lot. But Chris, take it away. How are we looking?
It seems if we get more than 6 cars out there, we're going to be on the brakes somehow. Today, we have dry pavement, and guess what? A big gas ball off to the east there got in everybody's way, and we've got sunshine delays that persist to this very moment. So off to the roads we go. You can see there's still a lot of red out there because the weather is so good, and we're going to have the snow coming in tomorrow. Be aware, the pothole patrol, drum roll please, will be out there on all roadways looking for those big yawning chasms. So they're going to replace their divots as they find necessary. So watch for them, slow down, move over, and watch for the workers applying the cold patch. Core expressways starting to ease up a little bit, but still pretty much on the brakes. And just a reminder, this is the last time you get to go through Milwaukee Avenue through Logan Square. It's closing today forever. And everybody's going to get to go around the scenic route on Logan Boulevard there. So they're going to go around and have the big park right there in the middle. Have a great day. Drive safe. Let's be nice to each other. Chris Habermill, CBS News Chicago.
Chris, thanks so much. Well, on the Money Watch this morning, President Donald Trump has granted a months-long exemption on his latest tariffs for one major industry. Now, the White House gave U.S. car makers a one-month exemption on the tariffs that went into effect against Canada, Mexico, and China this week. The announcement came after President Trump spoke yesterday to leaders of the big 3 U.S. automakers, Ford, General Motors, and Stellantis. Now, the tariffs were expected to hit the industry hard since many vehicle parts are imported from those countries. And the popular weight loss drug Wegovy will soon be cheaper. The maker says the monthly cost will drop to $499 from $650. This follows an announcement just last week that weight loss drug Zepbound is dropping the starter dose price to $349. The FDA says there's no longer a shortage of both drugs. And congressional Republicans are moving to halt the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau's ability to regulate digital payment platforms. Now, that impacts apps like Venmo or Apple Pay and possibly Elon Musk's X in the future. The billionaire has repeatedly said he wants the social network to get into digital finance, and Democratic senators are worried this may be a conflict of interest. They asked the Office of Government Ethics to probe whether Musk recused himself from Doge's work with the CFPB. 401ks are becoming a rainy day fund for more Americans. The Wall Street Journal reported on data from the Vanguard Group, which showed a record of nearly 5% of people took early withdrawals from their 401k last year. The previous record was about 3.5%. That was in 2023. People took early withdrawals to prevent foreclosures, pay medical bills, and other emergencies. More than a third of those who took hardship distributions in 2024 did it to avoid eviction or foreclosure.
Well, soccer star Lionel Messi is the focus of a new world tour exhibit, and it is coming to Chicago this summer. The Messi Experience, a dream come true, is over an hour-long immersive experience that takes you through his career. That, of course, includes his 2022 World Cup victory. AI will put you on the field for those moments and try out his training routine. It opens in Bucktown in July. Messi will be in town in April. That's just next month when the Chicago Fire play Miami.
Wow, that looks like a cool experience. Well, coming up, a look at the stories we've been following all morning long.
Plus, we are celebrating the latest CBS Chicago member to put on her dancing shoes for a good cause. Welcome back, everyone. Here's a look at the stories we are keeping an eye on today.
Yeah, 2-alarm fire destroys a magnesium plant in Dixmoor here. Fire officials say the roof caved in. Firefighters from several different departments responded around 11:30 last night at 141st and Sealy. They say the combustible metal made things difficult, leading to a few explosions inside. Thankfully, no one was hurt. The cause still under investigation.
The Chicago Board of Education is making a change that could allow CPS to take out a loan. The proposed amendment posted online by the board states that CPS, quote, can incur debt if needed to balance a budget. Otherwise, they'll face budget cuts. 2 public hearings on this proposal are set for next week. A final decision is needed by the end of the month.
Well, at 10 o'clock, temperatures are in, and it's 32 degrees currently at O'Hare, going up to a high today of 41 sunny degrees. Some snow tomorrow that comes in early in the morning could give us a tiny accumulation of snow that'll be slushy. Then temperatures climb through the weekend. By early next week, we're actually in the 60s.
That looks great, Ed. Thanks so much. Well, every year, Chicago faces you see every day on TV take part. Let me try that again.
Take 2.
Every year, Chicago faces you see every day on TV take part in the Dancing with Chicago Celebrities fundraiser.
Yeah. And
that is what I'm trying to say.
I got you loud and clear.
Thank you.
And this year, I'm the one swapping the reporter mic for dancing shoes. Here's a sneak peek from one of our practices this week. For weeks, I've been learning the cha-cha, the bachata, the salsa alongside Stephen Baker. He is in this video here with me, an incredible performer, professional dancer with Arthur Murray Studios. And every year, Arthur Murray puts on the show to raise money for breast cancer research. All the money stays local. It's an incredible organization and program. It's been so much fun, and I've had so much support already.
All right, I love it. I love the moves. You feel confident?
I'm getting there.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. I'm getting there. So, it's all about the energy at the performance.
Ed, did you check her out? She looked pretty good there, didn't she?
She looked very good. Yeah, what do you mean getting comfortable? You look very comfortable there.
I'm working on it.
All right, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us here on the News at 9. Your local news continues on our digital streaming network, CBS News Chicago.
Have a great day, everyone, and stay safe.
Thank you.